Greetings, Patriots, Starseeds, light workers, and of course our very brave military. Welcome to 1776 United, and we're in a worldwide and galactic revolution. I'm Alex West. Today is December the 4th. Now, we have lots of things coming down. Very, very exciting times right now. And I'm going to run through the things. Maybe you've heard them before, but I just want to remind everybody where we sit in this world and how we're being treated like pawns. The banks around the world, everywhere, every country that has a central bank that is attached to the Rothschilds, is a money laundering business. The banks are the biggest laundering network on the planet. Bitcoin, through my investigation, I believe isn't going to go anywhere. I know that there's a lot of stuff out there, and I guess, with Trump doing whatever he's doing, by saying, oh, there's going to be a Bitcoin here or whatever. I don't know where that's going. I believe that could be, and I'm just thinking outside the box, that it could be a sting operation. Let's just look at this from a 30,000 foot view, maybe. Bitcoin was created, and along with his, banking associates, by Epstein. Okay, and along with the, and it was manufactured through the Communist Chinese Party, and their manufactured was all set up underneath the Three Gorge Dam. This is a very illicit, suspicious piece of currency, I guess you want to say. Even by using it to today, the fastest time you're going to get by using Bitcoin to get things done is that can take up to 21 minutes. Not near fast enough. XLM and XLM or XRP move in lightning speed. 3, maybe 4 or 5 seconds, it's done. So you're going to see them take the front and center stage. Why I say Bitcoin probably is not going to make it is because it's all been put together and by the corrupt corporations that are out there now, and it's always been tied to right? A lot of trafficking. I believe that the ISO coins will be something that will be a safe haven to want to use this post EBS, okay? Now the Treasury for the United States has been extremely busy upgrading their systems to the QFS standards. And why I say this is because there will be no more Fed. Everything that was in the Fed has been extracted out of there and put into the Treasury vaults, I guess you want to say. And so that is extremely important to know this, okay? Because they are setting everything up, okay? The commander has been setting up everything on the financial end of it, okay? He's had to remodify basically the whole old system, and then take and get rid of parts and pieces that were in that old system, in the old SWIFT system, right? And then moving things around, and that's what he's been doing. He's been basically moving the chessboard around, trying to make it to where it's going to be more acceptable and a lot easier play for his, for the people of the world, okay? So this isn't going to be something that out of the gate is going to happen overnight. Yes, you're still going to be able to have your ATM cards, because the transition going from a new lightning speed system, it's not, that you're going to be able to use and operate your phone on. People are still going to be able to have that choice of using the old banks, but they'll soon find out that why do we need this old bank when we have these new high-tech Q cards and Q phones to do all our banking on, and eventually it'll all shift out. And then of course, if the bankers, the bankers that are still alive post ABS don't get their heads together, because the banking checking system and accounts aren't going to exist, because everybody is going to organically move over to the ISO or the QFS ledger system, which is going to be much faster, and it won't cost you any money. You remember when the commander brought in and called in all the generals, all the flag, the flag generals, flag officers from around the world. Okay, they came in from all around the world. Okay, many didn't walk out without a set of cuffs on. There was many of them that had put handcuffs on them and have been basically sent to jail. And they've gone through military tribunals for their treasonous and sedition and insurrection acts that they have been performing, on or before when Trump got in, because they were all basically, a lot of them were under the Biden administration and doing some pretty horrendous stuff. They will be dealt with one by one, if not already. Once the swamp, their swamp, the military swamp, and that was what it was, had been cleaned out, which Trump, that was his whole idea about bringing them in. It was cleaned out, and then Trump basically reset the military with gold-backed ISO stablecoin. Okay, this is to pay the military. So here's a perfect example of having to bring the whole system down, to gut it, take out all the bad apples, all the bad players, and then fit it with new, stable, positive gold-backed coins. And this is exactly the same practice he's going to do on us civilians, or us man and woman of the planet. Okay, so they did repay this, and the ISO stable coins are all attached to the military pay and to their QFS accounts, which they do now have. Okay, or I'm talking about maybe the officers, and those officers are under an NDA, and of course the military is still getting their pay. Nobody's going to get hurt in this, and of course we're going to find out, through the pensions and anything along that line, the people that are collecting pensions or disabilities or the 401s and stuff like that, the Ks that you're receiving money through the banking system, you're not going to be harmed on that. Okay, things are going to be moving along just fine. They want to push this over seamlessly as possible because they don't want to cause disruption. Okay, now America had a military before the Constitution. Okay, so they're going to be treated first before the man and woman sovereigns. Now, I just want to say that a lot of this is going to take time to push through, but the last thing they want to do, and the last thing the commander wants to do, is start dissolving big corporations. They're going to give them a chance, but basically the word has gone out now to drop your prices. Drop your prices on your oil, which he's slowly bringing down. Drop your prices on your car manufacturing, which is now starting to happen. You're seeing such a glut on the market because they were trying to get as many vehicles on the streets as possible at whatever ridiculous prices they were. And as we're witnessing already, we're seeing the industrial, commercial, and residential real estate also come down. So you're going to see this come down on a very, very slow trajectory, okay? It's not going to be anything that's going to be just wipe things right out. he doesn't want that, and I'm not even too sure if we're going to have a crash. But I think that's going to be inevitable. He has to crash the U.S. dollar and then replace it right away with the U.S. Treasury note, probably between now and March. Okay. Now the Treasury has spent the last 8 months digitizing its system from the old SWIFT system to the quantum financial system, and they were ready as of September the 30th. They were ready, and they have given Commander Trump notice that we are ready to go. So a lot of money, and I'm talking trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that have been seized. Just the amount of money that was seized from the Rothschild Foundation and that family organization was $675 trillion. Okay, that's with a T, trillion dollars. That was enough to feed the planet 100 times over. So, that being said, there's a lot of money on the planet that is dying to get out into your hands. And they're working very frantically, knowing that, you know, we're in this quagmire of financial debt and all this other stuff. And trust me, when the rubber hits the road and they decide to pull the pin or switch the green light on, things are going to be just absolutely wonderful. The banks will no longer be answering to the Fed. Okay, they're going to be answering to the Treasury. This is it. I mean, this is what's happening right now. Welcome to reality. And of course, the commander is bringing down the cost of everything. As you can see, the cost of vehicles you'll soon see in the new year brought down. There's many cars that are being made around the world, like as I witness here in the Philippines. You're able to run an ATV, like, you know, the four-wheel drive ATV, and even the quads. They're able to run them. They have side-by-sides here. They're running them up and down the streets. And I think that's pretty cool because they're very reliable and they're good on fuel. And but like it says, there's nothing like a two-wheeler to get you around through the traffic. I'm still sticking with my motorcycle. Now, the technology will eventually take over from the oil industry. Now, we are using oil right now, and we're going to continue because there's so much of it around the world. We do not have, you know, if people think, or you know, the negatives are thinking that, you know, Trump is attacking Venezuela because of its oil and everything else. No, he's trying to free and liberate the people there because they're dying every day under such suppression. Okay, they're also using the goon squads that are there are, you know, manufacturing, whether it be through Mondero's consent or not. They're manufacturing a lot of fentanyl mixed with cocaine, and that whole industry was being shut down. So his motivation, like, they don't need their oil. Okay, they you know, the United States has got lots of oil. Okay, Canada's got lots of oil, and they're going to be piping in that pipeline from Alberta to probably Kitimat, BC, and then getting them on ships to send that over wherever they're going to be sending it over to. So this is all coordinated. There's also going to be pipelines going down into the States, I believe, you know, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there's so much oil around there. They're going to use it they can, you know, what they can to bridge that oil industry until we get to the higher technology, until we can have the technology put in place properly. Okay, so, and this is all good news. Okay. Now, lots of good stuff is going on. Now, this 80-to-1 gold to silver is not sustainable. Okay, this has been proven time and time again. Now, I believe that you know what Trump is doing right now with everything going on. I believe that you're seeing a commander-in-chief basically being an anaconda. And I'm kind of treating it like that. He's an anaconda because he's basically grabbing his prey around the world and you know, squeezing the life out of him before he gets rid of it. So you know, this is how he's doing it. He's going to he basically says something or mentions something, and then of course you have all these lefties jumping up and down, screaming and hollering, and he lets them go off for 2 weeks and nothing is done. He does nothing, and then of course they run out of gasoline, and then at that point he'll just go ahead and implement it, and by that time it's already gone through their psyche, and you don't see too much about it. But he's doing it that way. He's an absolute mastermind at 5D chess, and I think he's doing just a great job. So you're going to see gold to silver go from 80 to 1, probably back down to 10 to 1, and this is because silver is needed dearly. Silver is, and so is copper. Let me remind you, I mentioned this several times before. They don't actually go after silver because of its low cost, okay? What they do is they go after gold or copper, and if they run into silver at that time, when they're mining gold or silver or copper, and they will see the silver at that time when they're mining those other two products, then they will pull it. Of course they're going to pull it, and it's kind of like in the tree business, okay? We always went after the fir trees, but then left the large trees, which I thought were a better product, but they left the large trees because they were heavier, they were more they had more sap in them, they were harder to cut, and they were 30% heavier. So a lot of the forestry would not cut them on. They'd go around 7 of them to get at one fir tree. And this is kind of like the same scenario. They're having to, you know, take the silver only as they run into it when they're mining for the other minerals. Okay, so I'm up now. Time is up. I'm glad I got this out. God bless everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.